Cast.
It must be recorded for posterity.
Okay, now Josh, repeat your question now that it's recording.
What was the movie you really enjoyed, James, where the person actually died?
Wait.
Yeah.
You sick
That
fuck.
got phrased a lot differently than how I presented it.
Yeah.
I only seek out movies where people literally die.
Yeah.
It's
Jesus.
It's Maneater. It came out in 1969. It was actually called Shark at first,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Burt Reynolds movie, and it was a stuntman that died, and the producers included the footage in the film, and it was a big part of the film's marketing. So clearly pretty fucked up.
Holy shit.
And and I think it was called. So it went from being called Shark.
It was originally like Kane or something, because I think it was just about him.
It was Kane.
And then the guy got killed in it, and they were like, "Oh, let's call it Shark."
Well, then 15 years later, Jaws comes out, and they re-released it and called it Maneater.
Oh, it's 15 years later.
How did
Okay.
the stunt guy die?
Yeah.
By a shark.
Yeah, like he was just doing something with a shark.
How fucked is that for them to be like, hey, you know what happened? Let's call this movie Maneater.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's nuts.
Jeez. Who
Must be Burt
man.
Reynolds or something.
Right?
But
Man,
That's wild. I did not know about that movie.
What year did this come out?
69.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't even
And then
see it
there's
on.
nice. And then there's
I don't even see it on IMDb.
Damn. It might just be called Shark.
yeah, they talked. So again, for those listening, they did cover this in the Sharksploitation documentary on Shudder, which is awesome. I highly recommend
Really
it.
good.
It's
What's
really
that
cool.
called?
Yeah,
Sharksploitation.
Oh,
Yeah, on IMDb, it's just Shark 1969 PG.
yeah,
Like the one we're about to discuss
What?
today.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Again, they re-released it with the name Maneater. So I don't know. If you're looking for it today, I'm not sure.
It's on
guess it'd
Plex
be
and
listed
Tubi,
under-
apparently.
come on.
Really?
Yeah.
There's another one they talked about.
hope
In
it's
Blue
edited down.
Water, White Death. And that one, they actually like kill sharks in that movie.
I'm
No,
good
I
on
don't want
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold the fuck on. This is the
Yeah.
Yeah.
poster. Is that the shot from when he dies?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
One of many. Yeah. They
If
even
that-
showed it in the documentary.
Well, I know they talked. Yeah, and they talked about how it was heavily used in the film's marketing.
Yeah. I guess
That
it's
is
not. I guess it's
fucked
not.
up.
I guess it's easier for them to get around it because the blood like clouds. So you probably don't actually see that much.
Yeah, and I'm just realizing something I said because I said 15 years later when Jaws came out, but that's 6 years later.
6
So I'm
years.
wondering.
Yeah.
I might have heard something wrong in the documentary. Maybe it was a sequel of Jaws.
Yeah, maybe it was one of the
where they
sequels.
re-released it.
There was a lot of dates in that.
The
fucking
tagline is
documentary.
Shark
Yeah.
mangles a man. Did this guy's family sign off on any of this?
That's what I was wondering.
Hey, just so you know, we're really sad about what happened to your brother. Can we turn the entire fucking ad campaign about how he got torn to shreds by a shark? Is that okay?
It's
I
fucking
mean, we're not
nuts.
going to give you any
You
money.
just
or
initial
anything.
here, and the tagline is going to be about how the shark mangled him, and the movie's going to be known as Maneater, and we're just going to have this. The last image we got of him alive is going to be our movie poster, our fucking
Yeah.
It's insane.
everything. Is that
Could
cool?
could you imagine dying on screen for a movie and your movie only gets rated 4.5 out of 10?
Wow. I'm kind of impressed it got 4.5 from what I've seen of it so far.
I would haunt every fucking person. You mean to tell me you're going to give me a 3-star rating on IMDb?
Yeah.
Haunted. 5 haunted. Anything under a 10, I'm haunting you.
See, and this is going to be real fucked up, but it's not that effective of a haunting because it's just like, that's a severed leg in the hallway.
I will throw my severed leg at you. Severed ghost leg. Haunting your hallway.
Somebody get the
man.
mop. Fucking
Right?
shark guys here again.
God damn it.
I'm trying to find it on Tubi, and you wouldn't believe it, but if you just type in shark, Tubi gives you, I'm going to say, thousands of movies to choose from.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Sharks
Tubi,
of the
yeah.
Corn,
Everyone on that
which we
graph
talked
from
about
Sharksploitation for
Swamp
sure.
Shark, Redwater,
Shark? Did you
Ouija
just say-
Shark,
Did you just say
Ouija
shark of the corn?
Shark
Yeah.
of the Corn.
Yeah, Shark of the Corn.
What the
Ouija,
fuck is
I'd
he-
like to point out that Ouija Shark, in Ouija Shark, the shot that they showed in Sharksploitation is a ghost. So it's like a glowing ghost shark in the air. And then I think it's like a Latino preacher who Dr. fucking Strange's his fucking hands out and these fucking orange things spin to deflect the fireball the Ouija shark shoots.
I'm so down for that shit.
Yeah. I think I want to watch that now.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Arkansas Women's Prison Massacre.
That's honestly like, I don't know if that movie's any good, but I've always loved that. Just the fact
That's
that
the
they
best
did
name.
Sharkansaw.
Sharkansaw.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Zombie Shark. Ouija Shark 2. There's a Ouija Shark
Wow.
sequel where he fights a giant crocodile, it looks like.
Mm.
We're just going to talk about every shark movie that isn't Jaws for this.
Maybe a good time to get into Jaws. Yeah, Spielberg's second theatrical release.
True. Yeah, he's only like 20.
That's the thing we're
How
going
old
to
was he when
blame
he
for
made this
all
fucking
this
movie?
bullshit.
What's
What,
that?
Josh?
How old was Spielberg when he made Jaws? Wasn't he like 22 or 24 or
Great
something?
question.
It
Was he really?
infuriates me every time I hear
Yeah, I was going to say
That's
he's
nuts.
fucking young.
It's nuts how just brilliant it is. And how young he was and inexperienced. But yeah, is it just innate talent? Is that what he had? Or he just
he
got
has to just,
lucky?
have it.
It's
Innate
nuts.
talent.
He was 29.
Okay.
Oh.
Still young,
In,
but
still,
innate
yeah.
talent, and
Yeah.
he managed to meet
He
the right
finally
people.
accomplished something before he turned
Yeah.
30. Good for
Yeah.
him.
There's this awesome video of Joe Spinell and Spielberg. I think we might have talked about this a couple episodes ago, where they're waiting for, or they're watching the Oscars in Spielberg's apartment or something, or wherever they are. And and he doesn't get the best director, and Spinell gets so pissed. He's like, "You get the best picture? If you make the best picture, how are you not the best director?"
Got a point.
I always thought about that.
Yeah. I love the idea of those two guys being boys.
Right?
It's so
Like,
cool.
It's so good.
What? Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So
Also,
go ahead.
oh, well, I was just going to say, this movie is where the term blockbuster was first coined and used.
Gotcha.
I also, from that Sharksploitation documentary, it also is apparently the first time, which is probably why it's the first blockbuster, that they were airing the trailer on TV constantly.
Yeah.
So like one of them said like it was, you were just with this movie regardless.
Well, before
of if
that,
you'd seen
trailers
it or
were
not.
just reserved for the actual theater.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is now in everyone's living room, and they kept playing the trailers in everyone's living room. And they called it Blockbuster because they're saying the lines of people would go around the block and it would bust the block.
Yeah, dude.
Mhm.
That's where
crazy.
that term
Wild.
came from. Also, the first movie to gross over $100 million.
Damn.
Also, the first movie to actually be shot on the ocean.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Everything else
The
was
first
on
ever?
fucking. According to an interview I saw with Richard Dreyfuss, or was it with Spielberg?
Yeah. Can we trust Dreyfuss though?
Spielberg, we can trust. Hey, he's a little off his rocker now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he always has been. I don't know.
Also
I-
intended to be a Christmas movie, but because of shooting delays, got pushed to
No way.
the summer.
Oh, really?
And I think this was the first one that created the summer blockbuster because they used to
Yeah.
dump shitty movies off in the summer because nobody went to the theater. They would be enjoying the nice weather outside.
Wow.
So
Not
summer was
anymore.
where they were like, whatever. And then this was what kind of flipped the script. And now all the big ones come out in the summertime.
Wow. Does the
Yeah, this
book
came
take
out-
place in Christmas?
Well, no, I don't think the movie was supposed to take place around Christmas. It was just supposed
Oh,
to
you're
be
saying the release?
released.
Oh,
Yeah, it was supposed to be
okay, gotcha.
released
See,
on like
I was going to say, I'm
December.
like, what the
December
fuck?
20th,
Yeah. First
Which
off,
is so
what the
silly to
fuck-
me because I'm like, the movie's based around the 4th of July. Why
Yeah.
would you
Right,
release it
yeah.
on Christmas?
Like, it makes so much more sense to theme it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, they
yeah,
did
yeah.
that with other ones. Like The Crow takes place on Halloween, and that that came out in like April. So it's, I guess,
same
people don't
thing
really
with
think
like
about it before.
Yeah, same thing with like Idle Hands came out in April.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think they're more intentional with their release dates nowadays, I think, than they were back then, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, this came out June 20th, 1975. So I mean, that's a perfect lead up to July 4th.
Yeah. Probably helped in certain scenarios. I wouldn't be in the mood to go watch like a beach 4th of July movie around Christmas, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's right.
And now this is an annual rewatch for millions of Americans and probably millions of people around the world, including us, I assume.
You know, it's funny because like I haven't seen it in like 2 years. And I've seen this movie, I don't know how many times. I couldn't even begin to guess. It still scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I think it has to be within the top 3 scariest movies I've ever made.
The only thing that I've noticed on this is if you're watching it, terrifying. If it's just on in the background, pointless.
Yeah, you're cool. Yeah, you're cool.
Yeah, it's just there because there's barely like, especially the last part of the movie, like there's barely any dialogue. So you're just like, okay, well,
tired, didn't want to go to bed.
Ship it's thinking now.
Yeah, and then like the barrels and son of a bitch. Just kind of like highlight reel. But when you sit with it, you're like
as soon as it starts, it immediately begins. You're just like, I am so enveloped in the vibe that this movie has, where this movie takes place. Just like, it's honestly like the beginning of it kind of reminds me of the Friday the 13th beginning, where there's like, it's just them all hanging out around a fire. And like, but it goes so much further because the whole first half of the movie is just front loading, like, look at this lovely community and all this bullshit that is going on within it. And like, these stakes are real.
I asked my mom earlier, I was like, when was the first time you saw Jaws? And she was like, I saw it in theaters. And I was like, so she was like, I was in 9th or 10th grade. So she saw it with my aunt. And I was like, what was everybody's like reaction in the theater? And she was like, it was fucking hysterics. And I was like, really? And she was like, from the very get-go, the minute the opening scene happened and she just gets pulled under the water, she's like, the very minute that happened, the whole theater just starts panicking. And she was like, and then the whole time that she's being, thrashed around, people are like in tears, people are screaming. Like, she was like, by the time everybody left, everyone was like in shock. And I was like, wow. Jesus. Yeah. And she was like, and it was because like movies didn't do that back then. She was like, nobody even realized that you could do that in a movie and have that like hit that level of terror.
I mean, and just the fact, first off, like the shark is supposed to be in that shot and it just isn't, which makes it work better because the reason everybody's freaking out is because they're imagining it, right?
Exactly.
But even just the way that she's being pulled, which I kept wondering, like, how do they do that? She's just in a giant body harness with ropes attached to her.
And a lot of those screams are
crazy.
And a lot of those screams are real because it fucking hurt.
Those screams are the most blood-curdling screams I've ever heard. Like,
even
literally,
before
like,
the screams,
chilling.
Before the screams, she does that little like hyperventilating. It's super like, what the fuck?
And I'm pretty sure at one point she says it hurts. And I was like, that's what fucks me up. It's like it's the same thing as whenever I fucking heard the Grizzly Man sound, and it's just him reacting to it is what fucked me up.
But Susan Baclini, she passed away this year.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Just back in May, just a few months ago. I got her autograph right here, dude.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
She signs it first victim.
That's awesome.
Where'd you meet her?
Oh, I just bought it. I didn't meet her.
I went to her house.
Yeah. She lived next door.
But then the second kill. One of the things that I noticed more so this time around is how fast kind of the first like 30 minutes ramp up. And it kind of jumps from one thing to the next to where it's kind of like what you were saying. It's like front loading all of this. Here we go. And this is terrifying.
It's interesting because it's simultaneously ramping up, but then it also has peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Where like, oh, it's crazy. And then you cut to them. He's just at his house drinking and like, and then it's going to ramp back up to this next point and then drop back down.
Yeah.
It's, man, Spielberg,
but the scenes, like Derick, what you were saying yesterday, like the whole scene with the boy, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Alex.
The Kintner. Yeah.
Yeah. That, like what you were saying last night, like that scene is masterfully not only just shot, but how it's written, how it's edited, how it tells the whole story of like it's playing on the fact of like something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was sitting here watching it, and the minute, like this was like 2 hours ago, the minute the shot came on and it switched to seeing the fins roll over, there was a gigantic clap of thunder outside of my window. It scared the fuck out of me.
That's awesome.
I'm not kidding. It could not have been more perfect timing. It's like zoom in on him,
dude. That Hitchcock dolly zoom on Chief Brody is just so perfectly used there. That scene is just like masterfully shot. The tension that he builds so well. There's no music, and that's what I think is cool. So I don't know how this works especially in a movie, a production like this where you hire John Williams to do your score. Does he have last say on where he does or does not place music? No. Is that his decision to say, you know what, I'm not going to put music for this scene here? Because it's a great decision, whoever made that.
Yeah, it's usually the director. Yeah.
Now, I can see Williams definitely having a consultant situation on that, where like he's like, maybe we don't, but
not on this one, because
I was going to say ultimately that's going to be on the director.
Yeah,
he may make suggestions.
Spielberg didn't like it at first. He thought it was, when he heard what he came up with, he laughed and he said, "Okay, so what's going to be the main theme?" And then Williams was like, "No, dude, this is it." And then he credited Williams credited it as the kickstart of his career.
So wait, so Spielberg didn't like the dun.
Yeah.
No, really? Too simple.
Yeah.
It's similar to like Halloween.
I guess
Carpenter said the same thing when he heard the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is this?
I guess
but then
that
you see
sense.
it in motion.
I bet it's just because he's had it in his head for so long that like he's expecting like a much bigger like epic score behind it.
He loved it. After the fact, he said when he first heard it, he was just like, "What? What is it?" And then after, I don't know what the time frame was, but he's like, "Oh my god, this is brilliant!" And John Williams was saying it's supposed to be the shark's heartbeat, right? That's the idea.
That makes sense.
But I noticed like there's not there's a lot of music, but like the whole last couple scenes where shark yeets itself out of the fucking water, smashes on the back of the boat, eats Quint, and then gets blown up. There's no music during that.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Like there's a lot of
much
spots.
And
like there's a lot of spots that this movie doesn't have music in, which I've never picked on before.
It's interesting because most of it, I think, is in the beginning of the movie. Obviously, there is some while they're out at sea, but like most of it is in the beginning of the movie. And I was thinking about it, and like, if you put a different score to this, it's a happy movie. It's just it's a happy movie where some people get eaten by sharks, but like it's mainly just a beach movie. It's mainly just like a kind of like 70s, like, hey, 4th of July film. So it's like it's completely like it's just like the tension is in the music because the music is Roy Scheider. I can't think of his name. The sheriff.
Brody.
The music is his point of view, right? Like it's him, it's the shark's heartbeat, but him like everything else is going around fine. But he's like, no, man, like we gotta fucking do something.
Oh, in that scene, the
whole first part of the movie before they leave to the ocean.
Right.
Well, and I think the lack of music in those other scenes, like when you said when Bruce fucking hops up on the boat and like anything that nowadays you would have music swelling up to that point to prepare you for some shit's about to go down, and they didn't do that. And instead of it being boring or like just lifeless, it's just that much more terrifying because you didn't have music to warn you that you were about to see some shit. Like he just pops up out of the water when he's chumming or takes down Alex, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't have there was no tease. There was no,
he didn't let me know.
There's no like rising string action to tell me that the shark was there. So it's, I think it just works in
100%. Like that's why it works so good, right? Because there's no prep. That's just dead.
Yeah.
Well, especially the jump scare there when he's looking underneath the boat and the
dude's head.
That pops out of the hole of the boat. I remember that really fucking me up as a kid.
I wasn't watching the screen at that moment, so I just heard the noise, and it is the weirdest scare noise I've ever heard. It's not. There's nothing fucking aquatic about it. It's just like a
nothing aquatic.
Like, what the fuck?
Definitely a choice.
Yeah.
That was I remember. I feel like this is one of those movies where every time I watch it, I forget how terrifying it is because it is something that I will either throw on the 4th of July while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning, while I'm like hanging out, or this year it was just Kimmy and I home alone. Kimmy obviously is obsessed with sharks. This is one of her favorite movies of all time. So we watch it every 4th of July, but this is one of the years where we didn't have anything really planned, didn't have any friends over. So we just sat on the couch and watched Jaws. And I was like, oh yeah, when you really pay attention to this one, it's fucking terrifying. And there's always so many moments where I'm like, I always forget how this movie's PG. And it's got the Kintner death, the severed leg, the dude's head, the girl at the beginning who's clearly nude, and we get like the underwater shot, and then she's torn to bits. Like nowadays, it would obviously be at least a PG-13, but I feel like there are certain elements that would push it to an R rating because
for sure.
Quint's death is so brutal.
Yeah.
There's so much gore in this movie, surprisingly.
I always forget how much gore is in it until I rewatch it. And I was like, oh, that's right. We get to see all that shit.
Yeah. And Quint he explains his death earlier in the movie when you first see him, the introduction to Quint, when they're in that city council meeting or whatever, and he's scratching the chalkboard, and he talks about how a shark kills you. And I really wanted to take some notes on exactly what he said, but he details it out. Like he explains how he died. Again, how it gets a hold of you, it shakes you, I forget what else it said. Like it'll mangle your. He said something where I don't know if it looks like Josh is Googling it.
I'm trying to pull it up now.
But he really details what happens to him, which is pretty cool. And that I love that scene where you first meet Quinn and he scratches a chalkboard. Is he eating a saltine cracker?
I think so.
Yeah.
Just eating a cracker. It's such an interesting snack to have him eat for that scene.
I love Roy Scheider and I love Richard Dreyfuss in this specifically in this. But Quint, man, like Quint is the movie for me.
Oh, for sure.
Like he's so that guy was born to play that role. Evidenced by the fact that he died shortly afterwards, which really sucks because I would have loved to have seen him in other stuff.
Yeah.
But man, like every scene he's in,
he steals it.
He steals it, and then the next scene, just he's not even in.
Yeah.
Because you're still like, man, that guy's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
There's this awesome like dynamic trio going on between the three of them. They're so just perfectly placed. The characters, the way they develop, and the way they and like, at the end all kind of come together, right? Like they're
and like
a team. But
Scheider's like total existential dread look at it, where like it's so he sees so much more than the rest of the town is seeing. He sees all this shit. And then Dreyfuss is just like plucky, like go get him attitude. And then Quint just being like, fuck off. It's just, it's the perfect, like, God, it works so good.
Josh, you have the quote.
It's a long one because he's like, y'all know me, know how I earn a living. I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't going to be easy. Bad fish.
I love that he calls it a bird.
Yeah. He also regularly calls it a porker.
Yeah. Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills and tommy cods. This shark, swallow you whole. Little shaking, little tenderizing, and down you go.
There you go.
And we got to do it quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
funny story. I used to work at Universal Studios Hollywood, and in the marketing department, we would have to sign off, take turns every Friday. Somebody would have to clean out the refrigerators in the break room just to like make sure nobody left food in there or whatever. And there was a routine where you would email the entire marketing department at like 11 a.m. and say, just so you know, today's my Friday. So if you have anything that means something to you in the fridge, go get it. Otherwise, I'm throwing it out at 5 p.m. before I leave for the day. And it just became a contest to come up with a ridiculous email to send people. And so I photoshopped Quint in front of the chalkboard, but I removed the shark and drew in a refrigerator with a bunch of shit in it. And I completely rewrote his speech as, y'all know me, how I make a living. Like, I'm going to clean up this fridge for you, but it ain't going to be easy. I was real proud of that one.
That's awesome.
I only got like 2 replies, but it was one of my friends in the employee department was all like, this is one of the best fucking emails I've ever read. Thank you so much.
Worth it.
I was like, I probably should have been doing my job on a Friday, but instead of spending an hour like, what's another refrigerator pun that I can match to a shark?
That's awesome. I really hate that he dies.
Yeah,
it's a bummer.
One of my favorite things is that the extended canon of the ride makes it so that he survived. Because whenever I used to go to the ride when I was a kid, it was him narrating it, like as you're in line.
I don't remember that.
And he'd say some shit about like, you think I was killed by that, whatever the fucking said, like, but no, I escaped and some shit, which is like, he ate you in half.
We saw it.
His death is just fucking traumatizing.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Like, not only is it brutal, but I know that's not a real shark.
Right.
Yeah.
But it looks real enough.
They did such a fucking good job on some of the sharks in this movie.
Yeah, but like if I were him and I don't know how I would have been able to film that scene because dude,
terrifying.
I get freaked out and I was hanging out in my room watching it. I couldn't imagine genuinely being in front of that while it's thrashing around.
Dude,
I would have had a fucking panic attack.
It would not operate 100, like you couldn't trust the shark to work 100%. So you were like, all right, I'm going to start kicking at it, and then I'm going to put my legs in. But if this thing accidentally clamps down, like,
I'm fucked.
To actually die. Yeah.
There's a part in the documentary that I'm not sure if it's in 2 or 3, but there's apparently a shot which I blocked out of my memory where there's a diver. He's one of the shark hunters or something that went after it. And it's a shot of him in the shark's mouth.
Oh yeah, I think it's 3.
While it's fucking
it's 3. I'm almost positive it's 3.
I'm almost positive it gave me fucking trauma as a kid, and I completely, because as soon as I saw it in the documentary, I was like, "Fuck." I remember having nightmares. I remember those fucking nightmares. Dude, getting eaten by a shark is one of the most getting eaten by anything is one of the most terrifying things ever.
Yeah, that goes into a question that I'll save for later.
Okay, cool. I look forward to being traumatized.
But yeah, I had the exact same issue when I was a kid, and I know we're going to get into the rest of these in another episode. But I also remember I'm almost positive in 3, it's where the shark, they're all eating underwater in like the restaurant or whatever, and then the shark crashes through it. I saw that when I was like maybe 5, 6, and so anytime I went to an aquarium with sharks in it, I in my head I was spazzing the fuck out because I'm like, one of these sharks are gonna take a fucking dive straight through this shit.
I went to in hindsight, regrettably, I went to SeaWorld a lot as a kid, and that's why I love 3 so much, because it's like I know these are all things that I thought about while I was at SeaWorld, and it's like it's so good, so fucking fucked up. And then you're like, none of these they don't give a fuck. They don't give a single fuck.
I mean, it's not a unique story. I'm sure you guys share this, and I know a lot of fucking people do, and it's generations of people who they watched this movie when they were young, and they just were terrified of every body of water, from bathtubs to pools to lakes to
I want to say
ocean.
that because I didn't see it until I saw it on USA, but I was very aware of it. I had a soundtrack tape that was all John Williams stuff, and like that's how I became obsessed with Jaws, weirdly. But my mom wouldn't let me see it because she was like, "You're going to be afraid. You're going to be scared," because she was afraid.
Right.
And that became really obvious when she didn't want to go to the pool.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I know it's stupid, but it makes sense. I had the exact same fucking fear. I didn't give a shit what body of water it was. I was horrified from seeing this movie at like 5 to 6, 7 years old. Every single time I have ever been in a body of water, I felt uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like because even in a pool, in most cases you can still see to the bottom if it's like a small clean pool, but there's like depending on if you're floating there, you can't really see what's over there, and for some reason there's a voice in your head that's like, shark could come through there. Like, you can do that. And I'm like, and then there's a voice of reason that's like, you're in the backyard of a swimming pool in fucking like Dallas. Clearly a shark is not.
Free Willy.
Shark could probably come through there.
Free Willy. These things can jump over things.
But that's what happens to your imagination when you're a little kid watching horror movies, right? You just think, well, fuck, man, anything could happen. Yeah. Shark could just fucking pop up.
I know. I think I've
Jaws ends up in the pond.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Go anywhere.
I think I've told this story on the podcast before. I can't remember, but I'll so in case I have, I'll make it quick. When I was probably 10, I came back to Florida on vacation with my grandparents, and I would always come down here and go to the beach as a kid, but I always was like reluctant to go into the water because of Jaws. And like once I got in, I was like, okay, this is fun, but it was always in the back of my head, like, I'm an idiot. Why am I here? I'm going to get eaten. And then
I have turned myself into food.
Yeah, and then but then you go through that, like, shut up, dude. Like, you're good. Like, it's just a movie. But
you can totally take it. You can fight a shark.
Yeah, like, this is stupid. Because I remember my grandpa would always be like, Justin, like, you're not going to get attacked by a shark. Like, the chances and odds of that happening are so fucking low, dude. And I'd be like, but it still could happen.
But they still have hero though.
Yeah. So him, and my grandmother went to the beach, and they would always like hang out on this raft, and I was like swimming around, and then there was a dude on a like a little paddleboard thing, kayak, like not even like 20-30 yards away, and he just started screaming to everybody to get out of the water. And I was like, I told you. Like, I knew it. And it ended up being, I'd like obviously raced out of the water, and it ended up just being like a school of tarpon, and sharks tend to chase tarpon, and tarpon will like run into shallow water, and then sharks will go up. So, and there was a lot of people in the water. So he was like, oh shit, tarpon, maybe sharks, everybody needs to get out. And then he got yelled at by a lifeguard. But
I was supposed to yell, not you.
Yeah. But like, dude, to be in that setting and then to hear somebody off in the distance yell that, I will never get over that. I will never get over that fear. It was like, oh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah. No. I always had that fear as well. Growing up in South Florida, I had so many buddies that whoa, my whole screen just went black. I had so many buddies that
fucking shark got your internet.
Yeah. that surfed. And I was like, I'm not surfing, dude. And being Canadian that grew up in South Florida too, I was a big snowboarder because we'd always go to Canada. I would snowboard a lot. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't snowboard if there were bears under the snow. Like, there's no fucking way. And that's what you guys are doing.
Okay, hold on though. Snow is water. There could be sharks in the snow.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm pretty sure that's actually a purpose for one of these movies.
Yeah,
right.
Probably. Yeah. I have no interest. I was laughing watching this movie, and I was like, I feel better now that I'm an adult watching Jaws as much as I do, because even though it freaks me out, I will never go back in the water. And I'm okay with that. I don't care. I will never ever go back in the water. Ever. I don't give a shit. I don't know if you guys have heard, like, there's been like an abnormal number of shark attacks this summer around Florida.
I read one recently. It was like 4 people got attacked by the same shark within an hour, and I'm like, what were the last 3 people fucking doing? Like,
right.
If I hear one person got attacked by a shark within the hour, why are those other 3 people in the water?
Hold on, guys.
Hold on, guys.
I think if the 3 of us go out there and real calmly, and we just talk to the shark, we can get it to apologize for eating you.
Well, I think we're fine. Lightning doesn't strike the same place. Oh, fuck. Oh, God damn it. Lightning doesn't strike 3 times in a row.
There was I remember watching Shark Week as a kid. So I really didn't help my fear, myself get over my fear of getting attacked by a shark. But there was a story that I remember of a guy telling where it was him and his buddy, and they were in just waist deep water, just at the beach. And they're just, just within maybe like just a little bit away from each other, just hanging out, standing there talking. And then all of a sudden, his buddy goes underneath the water, never saw his body again. Because the shark just swam along and grabbed him by the feet, took him out.
Now, hold on. Now, we did say that it was in shallow. So are we sure it wasn't quicksand?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. They tested for quicksand.
Okay. Cool. Yeah,
I'm just making sure.
Unless the shark came out of the quicksand.
Quicksand
sharks. Quicksand sharks.
There you go.
Check on Tubi, Josh. So
it's on there.
It's on there. It's gotta be.
I think it's just called sand sharks, but it is on there.
Yeah,
that's good. That works better.
It's funny we talked about how the cast worked so well together, how Brody and Quinn all them like bounce each other out. I don't know why recently, because this is a movie I watched multiple times, all the time. It's one of Kimmy's favorites. So I thought I knew everything about it, but I finally was reading more into it this year, and I saw some article that was like, how am I completely losing his name now? Quint, the guy, Robert Shaw. He was apparently not sober for most of the filming, and so everyone fucking hated him. And somebody was like, if you watch the Indianapolis speech that he gives, that whole sequence was filmed over a couple of days, and one day he showed up just completely fucking shithoused, and they were like, had to carry him to set and prop him up and have him do his lines, and then the next day he showed up sober and apologetic and did the rest of the scene, and you can kind of tell from the cuts where he just straightens up and gets serious and delivers his lines, and there's other times when he just looks like he's fucking
What's funny
in the movie they're supposed to be drunk
in the movie,
right?
like, oh, this guy's a great fucking actor. It's like, no, he was probably pretty hammered.
Thing is, I don't know enough about his career outside of Jaws, so maybe he is just an alcoholic, but I feel like it's almost like just method acting gone too far, because
maybe
obviously he's I mean, it makes sense if he was in the Indianapolis that he would be drinking himself.
I just read that in the script. It was like, this character always reeks of whiskey. Like, all right, got it. It's like, no,
that's got to be one of the gnarliest, just dirtiest hats I've ever seen that he's rocking the whole time. Like, it looks like it's got 20 years of sweat and sea salt just fucking soaked into it. And it's like all asymmetrical, like the brim is folded on the side, not in the middle.
The first quote that you see of his on his IMDb page, I drink too much. Will you tell me one great actor who doesn't?
Okay, well, all right, maybe he's an alcoholic. Maybe he only plays alcoholics though.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
That's method.
Right. Yeah. That scene is brilliant though. I love that scene where they're always butting heads, right? The 3 of them well, I guess more Quint with them, but it's that scene where they really get together, and it's Quint and Hooper they're the ones that are bonding, and they're drinking and they're sharing their stories, looking at their scars. And you see Chief Brody off to the side. He's kind of isolating himself. There's even a moment where he lifts his shirt and he's got a scar, and he thinks about it. Should I tell my story?
Yeah.
And that's him, the whole movie. That whole movie, he's like that, right? Like, he's so out of place. Like, I'm from New York City. I don't know how the fuck they run this island. Like, someone just died a few days ago and everyone still wants to go to the beach. The mayor's like, no, fuck no, we're not shutting this down. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so out of sorts.
Yeah.
There's even the moment where in the house, there's a phone call. He's got 2 phones and one of them's ringing. So I think it's a house line and like an emergency line for the, his work. Yeah. As the chief of police. And the phone's ringing and he picks it up and he's like, oh, I got the wrong phone. Like, he still doesn't know which phone is which. Just like really nailing down the fact that he's so new there. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. But that scene in particular, I love it because he's not bonding with them. He's still like,
he's out. He's an outcast.
Yeah. And it's really the whole fucking hero's journey, right?
Oh, yeah.
Joseph Campbell, that whole, with him just at the end, finally fucking, I think that's the first time he really gets in the water is when he fucking is right at the end.
Yeah. I also really love that scene. I love that whole cabin scene for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Not obviously for the Indianapolis speech is just incredible. But
it's one of the best monologues in film history. Period.
Absolutely. If it wasn't so long, I would be doing an impersonation of it. I just want to say it.
I'm down. I'll wait, dude.
Okay. I mean, we'll pull it up. I'll do it. It's going to be terrible, but it'll be funny. But right before it, I kind of love it's my favorite moment in the whole movie where they finally got that fucking first barrel on him. Mm-hmm. And then Quint's just sitting there on leaning against the rail and he's got the gun and he's fucking backlit with the sunset. And you could just tell like that's what that moment is what he lives for. Like that's why he's a miserable piece of shit the rest of the time. And that's like it's that moment that he forgets about all the shit that he had to go through. And it's like the hunt is on and it's a beautiful sunset. Like the beauty plus chaos, like that's that window that he truly exists in. And he's just fucking loving it. And then the next scene is him being like, I guess this Hooper's not so bad. And it's like, your heart warmed.
Quinn. Why does he fucking destroy the radio? Because is it because he doesn't want the Coast Guard to come in to take his kill?
He wants to get the shark.
He wants the glory for
it. They want that.
Well, it's his huge character flaw, right? His obsession. Like, he fucking hates sharks. Absolutely. And he fucking hates sharks. And I mean, the way his demise, it's because he fucked up the boat, right? Like, Hooper's like, dude, you're gonna blow it
too fucking far.
And he just it was his obsession, which it's the way they really built out that character is so brilliant too, because with his whole background story, he's like, I saw hundreds of men get eaten by sharks. Like, of course I have this deep-seated hatred for these fucking things.
I was on the US Indianapolis's wiki page earlier, and so 11 or almost 1,200 people, I think it was 1,158 people went into the water, and then the vast majority, it sucks because like the story in the movie like kind of makes it worse. However, because 300 people went down with the ship, and then the vast majority of people just drowned because they didn't have enough lifeboats or life jackets.
Right.
So
they were there for like 4 or 5 days, right?
Yeah, that too. It was about 150 to 200 people out of the 900 that went into the water that were taken up by sharks, which is still
that's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
Too many.
There's a lot. The last podcast on the left did an episode on, or a few episodes on the Indianapolis, and man, that's like even his speech gets the vibe across that he like went through it, but man, dude, the way that they laid it out, bro. It's just you're
like, stuck.
Imagine being trapped in a snowdrift, except you can't lay down. You're just floating. You have to keep floating. You have to keep holding on, and then all around you, there's just like he says, like a fucking body part floats up to you. Your friend is dead now. They just fucking disappear, and then there was
can't
even
see
more
under you.
Yeah, and then that's just the shark shit that's going on. There's also like way more dark shit going on between the dudes. Dude, it's so fucked. It's so fucked and harrowing, bro.
Were they like killing each other or something?
That was one of the things they were doing to each other.
Oh, Jesus.
It was just at like day 1, all right, fine, shit's kind of fucked. Day 2, shit's getting more fucked. By day 3, you've been surviving in this for so long that they just started to break and they just started assaulting each other. And dude, it's so one of the most fucked up things I've ever heard about. And Jaws was the only like touchstone I had for it. And it's like,
I have to go back and listen to those episodes.
Dude, it's fucked.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
I always loved the spot in his speech where he's talking about waiting to be rescued and how that was the most terrifying part because he's just waiting and he's like, shit, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it?
It's that hope, right? Like, you have hope and you're like, should I even fucking bother having this hope?
Yeah,
right. Man, that's fucked up.
I love I had to put on subtitles because he said in that moment, he was like, I'll never put on a life jacket again.
Yeah.
Because of the hope that he had and how intense and stressful that was.
It's that, but it's also the fact that having the life jacket on restricts you from being able to get away from the shark as much. Because you're just floating kind of like without control. And like it's bulkier, so you can't. Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
I mean, your bait just bobbling on the surface of the water, like not able to see underneath. That's the whole thing, right? That's what makes the there's a term for it, and I learned it for the first time when watching that documentary, thalassophobia.
Oh
it's a deep fear of. Let me Google it. I think it's just a persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water, such as the ocean, seas, or lakes.
Yeah,
I really think that's
everyone have that phobia,
right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't necessarily have it now as much as I did when I was younger. When I watched this movie, and it really fucked me up. I love the water. I love fucking.
Yeah,
I do like going to the beach. It's been a while, but
Derek's got an Ocean Gate fucking sub book waiting.
But no, the idea. I mean, it dates back to. I mean, look at Creature from the Black Lagoon, right? Mm-hmm. Like that whole scene of her swimming on the surface, the underwater camera looking at just the idea of your dumb little fucking feet that are so easy to fuck up, and you know what I mean? Like they're so vulnerable. Like you got 100 little tiny bones in them that could easily just get murked. And just like waiting there like a dumb fucking worm on a hook that's just waiting to get fucked up.
What an asshole with your fucking
no idea Derek felt this strongly about our dumb fucking feet.
Dude, our legs are just so fucked when you're just bobbing up and down on the surface.
Derek's legs are fucking stupid.
Yeah, intelligent design, my ass. We're all fucking bait.
Yeah. Well, just picture any other horror movie. Picture Halloween. Michael Myers, except like he has so much area to attack you, and you can't see it because from the waist down, that's where he is only. Like you're just walking in the world, right? Waist up,
just slithering on the floor.
No, it's true.
It's Michael Myers in a different dimension, and he can only fuck up your legs and pull you into his dimension. It's fucking terrifying.
There's a haunt here. I'm sure you guys have similar ones, but Knott's Berry Farm every year does Knott's Dairy Farm, and one of the mazes that they had for a few years was called the Depths. And it's an underwater themed haunted like maze.
That's awesome.
And there's a sequence where a giant animatronic shark lunges out from the side of a ship and comes at you, and it is fucking terrifying every time. Even though I know it's happening, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop so I can get footage, and it's gonna get me again, and it does. But they also do this thing with lasers and fog to fill the bottom half of the room. And then the lasers give it like a sheen on top, so it looks like you're walking in waist deep water. Cool. And then scare actors are scooting around on like skateboards or whatever, just like crawling around and popping out to get you. And it's it's very, very, very fucking scary.
Someone's getting punched in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to get past
I always wanted to go to one of those screenings of Jaws at
the water.
Yeah. Those are fucking cool.
Yeah, a lot of them happen in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
There was my best experience with this movie, and it's not that long ago, is when we were living in LA, and John Williams, I don't know if he's still doing it, he used to always play at the Hollywood Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they did Jaws with him and an orchestra just live playing the music while you would just watch the movie. So they just remove the score from the film and they just play it live. It was fucking awesome. It was so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do the water one. I feel like it looks.
I would love
see
that.
the ads, and I'm like, that's so cool. I would do that, and I feel like the first death would happen. I'd be like, I can't hang. Sorry, bring me to shore. Get me a folding chair.
I'm fucked up because I'm like, what if there was like something in the water that they had control over that would like fuck with people?
Right.
It'd be awesome. I would
that
love
would be cool.
So good.
Yeah,
that would be very cool to watch from a safe distance. Yeah.
And that would be cool.
Actors reenacting death scenes, so you'd have that first death chick just like getting thrown around and shit.
Next to you with a geyser of blood shoots out of the pool.
Yeah.
There's some kid with a fake shark fin floating through every now and then.
Little 9-year-old boy in a yellow raft, just a pool of blood fucking sprays over him. Like, oh fuck.
Jesus fucking Christ!
I think we're on.
Oh wait, the movie's still going.
I think we're on to something here.
Yeah, dude. There you go.
Yeah, because I know there's like 4D theaters. I just saw a video of people watching the new Twister inside of it, and it's like looks like a like a ride at a a motion ride in a
essentially
a theme park.
Muppets used to have the 4D thing at MGM, and then there was a Honey I Shrunk the Kids one.
Yeah. So you
gotta
create
do something, man. Got to get people to get out of their fucking houses.
Yeah. So you create like a mini theme park thing that's like different settings for different kind of movies. And one is a giant pool and put a fucking animatronic shark in it. Man. Yeah, somebody give us some money.
Yeah,
dude.
I won't get in the water.
Let's put a pitch together. Let's put a pitch together. We'll find some investors.
Yeah. Even if I ran that shit, I knew it was fake. I still wouldn't get in the water. I don't care.
Josh has connects, dude.
Yeah, that's true. I do know some theme park people. That would be fun. I'm just imagining a section that is just a wave pool and it's running the entire Jaws franchise on a loop. And you're like, how are you going to get space in the pool? And it's like, just wait. When the animatronic shark pops out, 1,000 kids are going to shit themselves and have to get right out of the pool. And then there'll be room for you. Like, that's how we cycle through the crowds. Because I would not be able to hang out either. Like, as soon as that shark pops up in the movie, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go to the western section of this theme park.
Right?
And like watch Unforgiven or whatever.
Desert. Where the least water is.
Yeah. Nothing.
Thunder Mountain Safety Road.
Yeah.
Hills have eyes.
Yeah.
God damn it, now I'm being chased.
Fuck this place.
It's so hot.
Yeah.
It's just heat lamps all over in the day.
Just a ridiculous dry heat and then some dude running at you with a pickaxe.
Right. So I forgot the scene where Richard Dreyfuss goes into the cage at the end. And the whole time that scene happened, I think that's the one scene in the movie where I'm like, why did you do this? Why?
Yeah.
Well, the setup. This was a dumb decision, Richard Dreyfuss.
Because they've run out of ideas. They've run out of shit to kill it with. The only thing he has is that tiny little needle.
Right.
Because they asked him, the boat was already fucked. They were fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why he screams, like, do you have any better ideas? And he's like, it's kind of like a last resort move.
But then he immediately drops it.
Yeah.
It
immediately falls apart.
Yeah, you realize the shark is anywhere in this water, right? Like, it's not going to be directly in front of you. Like, head on a swivel, Dreyfuss. Come on.
Yeah.
Which ended up saving him, right? I mean, he ended up fucking surviving because of that.
Yeah.
Well, originally he didn't, and then the studio, I think, was like, no, he's gotta survive or some shit. So then they just like tuck him into the little crevice in there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But like, even
I think maybe he dies in the book. Maybe that's what
maybe
that could be.
because like as the shark is is bashing that gate, I'm thinking like, you guys see the size of this fucking thing.
Right.
What do you think it's gonna do to that? Yeah,
the boat.
Yeah,
yeah,
the whole boat.
The whole
broke
boat.
it.
Hold on.
Multiple
Done.
boats, dude. Multiple boats and a pier.
It ate a pier.
Yeah.
That whole pier.
And then it ate a tire that those dudes used for bait.
That's right.
It took all those barrels, like
that seems great.
Fucking cage.
Where he's got 3 barrels. He's like, you can't go down with 3 barrels.
Yeah, and then it
pulls
just
them all
does
down.
Yeah, and
You
he's
ever
like,
had one do this
shit.
before? No.
No.
That's one thing we have to touch on is the barrels.
Yeah.
Because I know Spielberg talked about this in the movie Spielberg at lengths, or just the first shark they had when they were testing, it fucking sunk. And he's like, fuck. Like, I don't know, what are we going to do? And just the use of the barrels, like, oh my God, like this is awesome. Cause now it's almost more scary, right?
I think
like,
it works
like
way better.
Yeah. And you don't need to see the shark. And so just the use of the barrels there is brilliant. And also just the idea that you barely ever see the shark in this movie. The runtime of the movie is 124 minutes. Mm-hmm. Jaws is on screen for 4 total minutes.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It feels like more.
I didn't realize the movie was that long because the movie just.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's 124 minutes. Yeah.
It's 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They went back and reshot those 4 minutes to get them in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Obviously, we still want to talk about how the lack of shark end up working in its favor. But nowadays, a 2 hour plus horror movie with that little of the creature in it, the studio would absolutely not let that happen.
No.
So they would go in for the shittiest reshoots. They would insist to get trimmed down to 90 minutes. And this movie would not be what it is at all.
To be fair, I think a lot of fans wouldn't want it. I feel like people nowadays, that would be the complaint we would see all over fucking Letterboxd. Like, I thought I was going in for a Halloween
shark movie.
And I only saw
barely any shark.
I
only saw 5 seconds of Halloween. I would say
I counted.
What is this, a fucking Christmas movie?
Yeah. It's only Halloween on screen for 4
3
minutes.
pumpkins in this motherfucker. I would say I was thinking, like, is there another movie or is there another concept other than like another sea creature that works where you can have its movement represented without it being on screen?
Yeah, I was trying to think of that too, because obviously I've always paid attention to the barrels, you know, but the one shot where he gets the 3 barrels on him, and it's a big crane shot where the boat is, in the distance, and it's panning up kind of, and you see the barrels going straight towards it. I was like, this is fucking genius. Yeah. And it's also completely terrifying. And I don't think I've ever seen that approach done before.
And I think we haven't seen it done. I mean, I'm sure we've seen it done after, because obviously, but like, I don't think anybody, because he didn't want to do it. It wasn't his initial response. It was like, well, I guess we're fucked. So how do we do this?
Yeah.
And like,
well, it's brilliant problem solving, right?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah, that's why most of the POV shots, I think, were also to replace shots where we were supposed to be third person seeing the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I know
the POV shit is so
the original script.
Like when you're coming up on the kids and you're like coming up to the surface and you're getting that POV shot, it's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because the original script is shark all over the fucking place. Sharks. Yeah. Like you're supposed to see them the whole time.
Gotcha.
But even before the barrels, the dock. That was the first time that happens, right?
Yes.
Those 2 guys that are trying to.
I kind of like the dock even more than the barrels, just because we get so much barrels. But like the dock is so much more like, how did you do that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You turned the dock around and you sent it back. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I wanted to say, because you mentioned crane shots, and the one fucking shot in this movie that terrifies me more than any of the other shots, and it does involve shark, is when the shark goes to eat him and it just misses. it's like a big upshot. I think it's
It's the first time you ever see him.
Yeah, it's
Jaws.
the first time you ever
pond,
see him.
Right?
I think
where the guy
the guy who's like,
capsized.
"Hey, you guys okay over there?"
Yeah.
He's like, "What? They were
no,
fine."
he doesn't miss him. He turns sideways and like
gets his leg.
Gets his leg.
Right. But like it's just that shot of it completely submerged
coming
on
up
its side, and you
him.
See the whole mouth opening.
See how big it is too.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So fucking big.
Yeah, it was awesome.
There was another story that I remember seeing on Shark Week when I was like 10 that scarred me for life. Was a Australian guy who was participating in a spearfishing competition, and it was like one of the worst shark attacks in Australian history at the time. I think it was sometime in the 80s or 90s, and he was out doing his thing, and which like what. Like, dude, you guys live in Australia and you're spearfishing, so there's blood everywhere. Why would you do this? Like, you guys are
that's a good point.
Yeah, like you guys are fucking nuts. But yeah, he went down, got his last fish, and swam up to the surface and was going to go in, and he happened to look straight down, and it was that exact thing that you're talking about, James, but from his feet up at him.
Fuck off.
And he said that as soon as he looked down, it was just a gigantic mouth coming up and like basically swallowed his whole right leg and latched onto his whole like lower section. And he survived, but he was fucked up. But yeah,
like how do you even? I would immediately black out. If I look down and there's an open shark mouth at my feet,
your brain would just give up.
Yeah, I would short circuit. I would forget my name. I would just go catatonic. How the fuck do you fight that?
Josh is just like, hello, little babe. How you doing?
You come in, and then there would be like, this is how I die now. And then I'm just gone.
Your body like involuntarily gets super small just so you can you hold. Just really fuck me up. Don't take a limb, take all of me.
No pain.
Yeah, I guess it's Australian crazy. So as it was like holding on to him, he had enough like I guess calm to jam his thumb in its eyes, and to the point where it pissed it off.
Right?
Yeah, where it pissed it off enough and it let him go. But obviously he was fucked up. But he lived. But even then, like I don't know if I could have my wits about me enough to even think about that.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, this is my nightmare.
Yeah.
Why did I go in the water? I knew better than this.
Should have done that.
Yeah. I deserve this.
Well, this is what I get.
That's fucking swimming.
Yeah.
Swimming. It rhymes with sinning. So
it was my choice. I could have stayed home today.
Yeah.
No.
I gotta go surfing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Nope.
I never picked up on this until watching it this time around, where the air tanks, they're so brilliantly just interwoven throughout the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and it's all, a lot of movies do this wrong, where they're cheap setups and you just know what they're doing. Like, oh, those things, they explode. It's like,
right, yeah,
right. Like that's how it's gonna kill a shark. So there's no cheap tricks here. Like it's such a perfect setup where the first time you see it, and this is the scene in particular that I've seen really noticing it for the first time, is Chief Brody's flipping through a shark book, and there's a picture of a great white with a tank in its mouth.
Right.
And he doesn't hold on that page very long, but it's just kind of like a quick little thing that you see, and he just flips through past it.
Never even connected that.
But obviously the scene where he pulls the knot wrong and a bunch of the tanks come down, and they yell at him. That's where they tell him, hey, like, it's going to blow up the whole fucking boat. And it's perfect because it's like, yeah, again, it's Chief Brody out of his element. He's inexperienced, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He fucked up, you know. He didn't know how to untie that.
It makes sense for them to be telling him that because he doesn't know what he's doing. So it's not a setup. I mean, it is, but it's them educating him. It's you know, it's part of the situation.
It's multi-layered. It's right. But yeah, when I saw that picture when he was flipping through, I was like, oh fuck. Like I never noticed that. It's fucking awesome.
Isn't there an image that the mom sees where it's breaking up a boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she tells Alex.
Yeah, I think it's like Alex. I think it's like whalers or some shit. And
and she's like, "You heard your dad. Get the fuck out of the boat."
Let him have some time.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
It's weird that you're saying or that you're pointing all of that out because like this movie does have a lot of foreshadowing going on that you don't pick up on. Like that was the first time I've really noticed it because like shark just took out everyone's boat.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of his wife and his son, just the family, they're such believable characters,
right?
Yeah,
they're so just awesome. The acting is great. That scene with Brody and his son at the table, and they're like mimicking each other.
Yeah,
so
dude,
fucking
it's
awesome,
so good. And I love the give us a kiss because I need it.
Because I need it. It's such an awesome line.
On top of that, like that scene, and then she's watching the scene, and she's just like,
it's great.
I love that. I'm really a fan of when there's like relationships in these movies, and the relationship is not the fucking problem. I get so sick of it. Like, oh, like they're gonna have a fight now and shit. And she's just like, he's the police officer, he's the chief, right? Like, I mean, he's going through it. I could just be here for him, and just watching and appreciating the family.
Yeah, they don't get into an argument the whole movie, do they?
No, there's one part.
Yeah, I mean, they
one sort of part.
There's a little bit,
like,
but it's nothing.
Where she's like home in New York or home, and he's like, no, home here.
But that's home here.
Yeah, like that's not unreasonable. Like,
there's not like complete turmoil over his job taking away from his family and like a whole subplot to it.
Where
like
they would Monster Squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm a cop. There's a werewolf at the station. Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah, but
no one else can handle this.
There's even there's even a line she says. There's a line she says that I love, and again, it's just you're getting a peek at a marriage and these real human beings, right? These characters who are so well developed, and she just says, "Want to get drunk and fool around?"
Yeah.
And it just like that scene is just so. I don't know what it is about. It's believable. Like I'm watching actual people.
That scene and the scene in Poltergeist where they smoke a joint, those are some of my favorite. Like I just love those little like, man, it's just we're
like
just
this is a normal couple in love.
Yeah,
right.
That's now that these are best friends. Yeah,
they're just chilling. There's
Now it's got to be the tension and drama has to be not only outside of the characters and their relationships, but within them as well.
Right.
Like the outside or the external world has to fuck you up so bad that you're bringing it home and ruining your relationship and your marriage and your kids, and everything is dark and depressing and hopeless. And then you got to overcome all that. And then it's like, Jesus, man, like it doesn't have to be that fucking
We're
bad.
already living a Cormac McCarthy novel. We don't need to watch it.
Yeah. Like I feel like his wife would be like, yeah, go kill the fucking shark.
Yeah.
Like it almost ate my son.
Save the town.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
It's that it's that whole family dynamic that makes you feel really close to Brody. It is crazy how effective this movie is at character development and making you give a shit about these people.
Town.
And it goes, but it still moves so fast.
Yeah.
Like you see movies try to do that now, and you're like, okay, you spent the first 2 acts making me give a shit about these characters, and then you rush to the finale and didn't stick the landing. But this one, like, it feels like it moves so quick. But yeah, you love Brody, you love his family, and now you feel for these people. And yeah, these little characters throughout the town all stand out. Everyone knows the mayor, everyone knows Kentner and his mom. But then, like, Richard Dreyfuss's character just shows up and is immediately memorable from the way he's just acting as soon as he rolls into town.
He's such a spaz, but also it's like he's a nerd.
Just so annoyed.
He's a rich kid. He's a fucking city. He's definitely sort of a city kid, but like none of that really like. He's the good guy. You know what I mean? Like he's all like,
well, he's like the scientist who's cool. He's even got fucking denim jacket and the beard in the 70s. Like, he's not a fucking.
I love that part in Sharksploitation where the marine biologist PhD dude who's like 80 or some shit is like, this is why I dress like this.
Right.
Yeah, dude, he's cool.
Yeah.
I love the scene where him and Brody are trying to convince the mayor, and all the mayor can do is point out the graffiti on the billboard and shit. And then I can't remember what the mayor says, but it like Dreyfus hits his
mutilation.
The Dreyfus hits his boiling point, and all he does is just laugh.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. I'm out.
He's like, these people are fucking nuts. I'm done.
He's like, I refuse to get behind someone who's lining up to be a hot lunch or something.
Yeah.
I just love when he points to the billboard. He's like, this is he's like, that's to scale.
Accurate.
Big ass fucking fin.
The shark drew this.
Yeah.
This is a warning from him.
Dude, we would really fuck
shark.
Yeah. We would really fuck this episode up if we don't mention the guy that says, "Oh, what?"
I was just about to I was like, who? Waiting for you to bring it up. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I sent the clip of it in our chat. It's just where the tiger shark, he says it's a tiger shark.
Oh, that
bite radius.
What?
Bite radius isn't right.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh, what?"
But like that's what's so good about it. Like all the little they're just fun idiots, right? Like all the fucking the townspeople that like just one line from each of them, and you're like, I know who that person is.
Right.
Like Harry. And it took me so long.
Bad Hat Harry.
Bad Hat Harry. I forget what show that was at the end of. It was Bad Hat Harry Productions. It was one of the big like network shows. But
that's funny.
It took me forever watching this movie. I was always like, it is a bad hat. Like you see him come out in all of his old man torso glory, and like it's a bad hat. But I didn't ever put together the fact that he's calling it a bad hat because he thought he was a shark for a second. And the hat made it look like a shark shadow. And he's like, that's one bad hat, Harry. And I was like, everything in this movie connects.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a bad hat.
I did.
Bad fucking hat.
I also found myself like the scene where Brody leaves his police station and he starts walking through the town and stuff. It's such a window into that era of that small town like community of like everybody knows each other. Like, all the businesses are there. Everybody's helping each other out. All that stuff. And I don't know. I watched I didn't watch this on July 4th. I ended up watching The Sandlot, which
is a great July 4th movie.
And it's like
has
something
a big
about
creature swallow stuff whole.
Yeah.
It's similar.
Yeah, totally.
But there's a difference because again, it's sand, it's water. Yeah.
But like some those like town scenes, like I don't know, there's an odd like nostalgic for something that like I've never experienced.
Right.
Yeah.
Like whenever we saw these, it was like 10, 20 years after they'd come out, you know?
Yeah.
And like, but I obviously wasn't aware of it as a kid, but now it's like I had nostalgia as a kid for this time. That didn't exist anymore. I mean, we were on the tail end of it, but once the internet kicks in, this world doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, and that's what's so good about it is even though the beginning of it is like kind of hard, I'm sure it's a little hard for more people that were born after us to watch this because, you know, there's not cell phones, there's none of that stuff. But once you get out on that boat,
it
doesn't matter. He would have broke all your cell phones anyways.
You're fucked.
It's true.
Yeah. Nope.
Man.
I love this movie, man. 5 stars.
Fucking perfect.
Absolutely 5 stars.
Perfection. Anybody who doesn't give it 5, like I was looking at on Letterboxd, like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you?
Blocking people.
It's one of those movies.
Dick.
This is. I'm sure I've said this before because this is kind of how I approach when I'm rating a movie. Is I'm like, what did I not like about it, and what would I have done differently? And if I can immediately be like, here's how I would have wrote this character, here's how I would have had it happen in the second act, here's what I would have trimmed, here's what I would have added, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm like, okay, so that's where I move my stars around. Yeah. And Jaws is one of a handful of movies where I'm like, I would not change a single fucking frame of this film.
It's perfect.
Like, every single character is perfect. Like the line reads like we were saying, we know who everybody is, even just like the way they breathe or like shuffle off screen or something. Like that's every actor gave exactly what they needed to. The girl screaming shark when it's like going off into the pond.
Yeah.
I'm like, that scene, it always just haunts me. And I'm like, fuck, she's like,
she's genuinely scared,
freaking out. And it's like,
even has a bit of a stutter. It's doing, shark.
Yeah. She's unsure. Like, am I at risk of like fucking everything? Is this a shark? Do I yell it and scare everybody? I could probably tell people. But this is one of those like 5-star movies. I'm like, it's a perfect film.
It is literally a perfect film. And when I was watching earlier, I was like, every frame of this could not be better. I don't know how you would improve on it.
Is it?
How do you?
Dude, even the fucking movie cover, the art, is it the most iconic of all time?
Right.
Like, is there one more iconic?
I can't think of
There's some up there, obviously.
Jaws 3, maybe Jaws 3.
The Jaws 2 cover art's actually pretty sick too. But I would say the original Jaws cover art, because it's also just like a universal thing. It's a horror movie, but this is a horror movie that my friends who claim they fucking hate horror will watch Jaws and understand that Jaws is a masterpiece. They love it because like The Thing is obviously iconic cover art, but I think Jaws.
This is kind of it surpasses that. It's so much more than a creature feature, even though you can say that's what it is. It's way beyond that too, right? I mean, it's it's I would say, man, it's hard for me to not put this at number 1 of all time for me.
Oh,
It's hard for me not to. Like the hipster in me wants to say, nah, I think it's Frankenhooker, but I think it's just hard to
also
not.
valid, honestly.
I love that fucking movie.
That is a great movie.
Now just imagine Frankenhooker
as
Jaws.
the shark.
Yeah.
What a
Sharkenstein
is also on Tubi if you want something at least similar to that.
Dude,
Sharkenstein, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Not for this podcast, but I think my next watch is going to be Tentacles. I need to see that. I need to see all the fucking Jaws ripoffs that happened in the 70s and 80s. I need to see all those.
I'd be so down for Orca, Tentacles, and Grizzly.
Yeah. So my brother's store in Calgary, so he's got, I forget how many movie posters, but he made a point to get all the original movie posters from when those movies first came out. And there are a lot of them are smaller movies. So one of them he has is Tentacles. And he had this idea of like, they're nicely framed, but he's like, I want them to be roughed and like have the creases like they were folded and shit, but nicely framed.
Yeah, you got
the idea of that. Like, I always love that poster, and I just still haven't seen Tentacles.
So since you guys just mentioned Grizzly, the question that I had, and I asked Derick and James this before on the podcast. I can't remember. I know James and I have had in-depth discussion of this over the years, but Josh is new to this, so we'll do it again. If you had to pick, you were gonna die, right? Like this was it for you. You knew you were gonna die.
That's already the case, dude.
But you all are. I'm already. Man, don't say that.
I'm trying to be optimistic. Someone's going to discover something, right?
Like the older I get, the more death is like right here in my head, dude. Like, don't remind me.
You're gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah. Stop it. if you had to pick either a shark, grizzly, or a croc to go out by, which would you pick?
I don't even know where to begin to intelligently make that decision.
I know.
I don't know how to
Do I get
approach
to
that.
pick how?
No.
No.
It's just one of those.
It's
I
just
mean,
by
whatever the
one of them.
natural way that they would kill you, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
that's what I'm trying to think
They
is
don't
I'm
have like a
if I picked-
deatomizer gun.
What's going to be the fat?
That's what I'm.
I'd say shark. I'd go shark.
Shark with a
That's
deatomizer
what-
gun?
yeah.
Well, but that's where I'm torn because grizzly, it's not going to go quick. Probably, unless
but-
it pounces on me just the right way, where it like crushes my chest and my heart,
Yeah.
and I
I think
die
it is
before he
fuzzy.
even starts to claw at
But
me.
it is fuzzy.
Oh, they
What
just
does
start
that
eating
have
And
to
while
your
it's killing you.
bears. Just start eating your legs. Like you're chilling there, and they're going to kill you. A shark might not kill you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
these
Like
fucking
most shark attacks,
Derek
they bite
again
you
with
and
our
they
dumb
swim
little
off.
legs. They just
Dumb
Fucking
feet.
legs.
So, but okay, but
These all these assholes
Derek's
with their
saying
fucking
he might not
legs.
kill you, but Justin is saying you are definitely
Yeah,
going
you're
to die in
yeah,
this
you're gonna
scenario.
die.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Which
don't know,
is going to
'cause
kill you
it's-
the fastest?
I would want to go down the fastest. I feel like a shark might do it, but then that you could also die drowning while the shark is attacking you,
it's-
which
yeah,
sounds
and I
like
don't
the
want
worst
that.
fucking double whammy.
Well, that'll be fast. But I'll take that instead of fucking 15 minutes of being eaten alive by a bear.
Yeah, and also,
that's where I'm
also
thinking.
going
And I
off
don't
Bears
really-
don't kill you, then eat you, right? Like
from that
just eat you.
They just start eating
documentary,
you, yeah.
there was that
Yeah.
one part where she
Which doc?
mentioned that fucking fish, the shark
the
exploitation thing, where she mentioned that fish that she reeled in as a great white bit it, and
Yeah.
apparently like its bite is so quick and so like sharp that it just kills all your nerves. You don't even feel it, and then you
Yeah.
like the fish was still alive, and I was like, I'm kind of that might be the best way, because then like.
Maybe.
Also, drowning, I've always heard, is supposed to be real blissful, minus the fucking drowning part.
and minus
Yeah.
You can say that about any death at all.
Yeah.
There's,
yeah.
there's
My-
5 seconds of excruciating pain where you are
Yeah.
just living
And
out your
panic.
absolute
Don't
worst
forget panic.
nightmare.
yeah.
But then you become really peaceful because
you're
you're
dead.
dead.
yeah.
Gator's brutal because they do the death roll.
Exactly.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think I don't want
I
to get
think
death
Gator's
rolled
the
by a
worst,
gator.
Yeah.
Fuck
Like
that.
Because
unless it
not
takes me
only-
at the neck, and then that's a quick snap, and
Right.
I'm going.
That'd be nice.
But
I'll
then you
take
got to
that.
be like, all right, Gator, get my head. Get my head, Gator.
Weird fucking conversation for this to veer
Yeah.
into, by the way.
I know.
But
Dude,
it is
yeah,
a great question.
I think about it all the time.
This is easier than like my top 5 movies for sure.
Yeah, but we still haven't. I don't know. We still haven't even picked which one it would really be. I don't think I would pick a bear. I used to pick a bear
No.
just because I thought like maybe you'd get whack like with with its paw, and they hit so fucking hard that maybe
Yeah.
it would have a chance to knock you out.
I mean, I feel like it's possible, but you're gonna have to figure out the correct thing to say to it to get it to slap you that hard.
Yeah.
Just walk towards it. So I don't think. But then the old like the more time goes on and the more like I see bears, I'm like, you know what? I don't think that would be the. I don't think I'd pick a grizzly. They scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Grizzlies
look,
aren't
all 3 of
aren't the
those are
scary
not
ones.
good.
Yeah.
All 3 of those are not good options.
I actually saw on. I think it was either. Yeah, I think it was on TikTok. I saw a story not that long ago about a. I think he was like a rafting guide dude in. I want to say Alaska. And he had his people. They were going down a river, and then they saw a camp that had been fucked up. So he pulls up, gets out, goes to check the camp to see if anybody needed any help. As soon as he got to the tent, giant grizzly comes barreling out of the forest. He's like, shit, and then jumps back in the raft thing. They start pedaling, and normally like the grizzly would leave you alone, but this one jumped into the water and followed them and chased them for 15 minutes.
Bro, that
And
bear
he's-
set up a trap and ambush.
And he said that he pulled out, he was about to fire off a warning shot, but he was like, I've never seen a grizzly this aggressive. And he was like, maybe I hold on to my, like all of my ammo in case I actually need it. And then the current kind of took the bear and it kind of hit a rock, and it allowed enough time for him to get away, or for them to get away. And then
I just love the idea of a bear like glitching against a rock, like in a video game. Like I can't.
So they get back to town. He tells police or whatever, and then they fly out to the camp, land. They get out. They obviously have guns. They're surveying the tent, and the fucking thing comes back and tries to attack them. Then they have to put it down, and then once it was gone, they're like, down. Then they look in the tent, and it was a couple, and obviously they were dead. But the terrifying thing is the dude had brought a rifle, capable enough of taking down a grizzly, and there was a bullet in the chamber, so he had enough time to load a bullet, but not enough time to aim it and fire.
Yeah.
And I was like,
or he had the time, but he was shitting himself and he just couldn't fucking, you know what I mean?
It attacked him at night. Yeah, it attacked him at night. And I guess it had went for his wife first, and then like
there's you're just reminding me of a book I read a long time ago, over a decade ago, called Fear. I feel like you and I might have talked about this book, Justin.
Maybe.
But I remember him talking about a lot of gunfire fights that happen with, say, police force or, I guess anybody else really. A lot of the dead
stuff.
Well, military, they're a little more trained. I think it still happened, especially more so in the older wars. But a lot of the dead bodies they find, the guns are unloaded. There's nothing in the clip, and the trigger fingers, the tendons are usually all blown the fuck out. And it's because you're just so overwhelmed with fear that they're literally just squeezing the trigger as hard as they can, and it's not even a loaded gun.
Damn.
And they're just blowing out ligaments in their finger. And that's like, when you're not trained and you're in that situation, you know what I mean? Like, it's just your body doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah. Like, yeah, dude, like, I don't think any amount of training can prepare you for seeing a giant grizzly.
Oh, you're fucked.
Ambush you.
No,
I mean, Josh's scenario of blacking out when you see a shark underneath your, like, that's very likely. It's not unlikely.
Yeah. Like, nope. No, I remember when I bought my handgun, I was researching. I just got curious because I was like, what do people carry whenever they go in, like, wilderness Alaska? So I ended up Googling around, and I landed on some message boards of people in Alaska, and them talking back and forth of what they carry and stuff, and like how long they go out and how they prepare for it. And then like there was a general consensus of like, yeah, you could try and bring whatever you want, but it's all matters. Luck. Yeah, it's all fucking luck. And I'm like, you guys are a different fucking breed of crazy.
Well, like, again, like if you're not trained, like, dude, most people, when something happens in their household and they need to call 911, they forget how.
Yeah.
Because you're just so overwhelmed with the situation that's happening in front of you, you forget how to call 911. That happens very often. So if there's a bear after you, and you bought a gun, say 5 years ago, and you went to a shooting range once, it's like, good luck, dude.
There's a bear after me. I'm trying to call 911, and it's not going to work either.
It's not working because you're trying to load bullets into your phone.
The tendons in your thumb are blown out.
No, you just pressed 9 100 times. Yeah,
there's no signal.
So yeah, definitely not bear. I'd say I think shark. Also, just that would be cool.
Yeah,
like
it'd be fucking awesome.
If I had it, like, I just want a cool obituary. Been like, you got fucking shredded by a shark, and then maybe they'll.
His last.
If they capture it on film, maybe they'll put it in a movie and make a whole campaign.
His last words are, "I'm gonna pass out."
Also, more likely, I don't travel to swampland very often. I do spend a lot of time in Florida, but as far away from gators as possible. Like, we saw one in this little
next time you come down here, we're gonna tie you up.
Like, that's too close.
There's one in my backyard earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like TikToks and shit, and I'm like, I couldn't do that. And then I'm never in the woods. I haven't camped since I was a Boy Scout. I fucking hate that. Like, I'll go for like a brief hike, but I'm not going anywhere near bears.
Yeah.
But I'll go in the ocean.
Gators leave you alone. Like it's for very and as Floridians, you know what I mean? Like we know. And so people who don't grow up there and aren't super exposed to it,
they're so scared.
Like we were. Yeah. And they always say, right, it's if you're not even near their nest, is if you're fucking with their nests. That's where like, they're gonna attack. Yeah. Now, obviously keep your distance if you see one, right?
Yeah. Like don't run at it, but
right. Yeah. Right. Which is funny because most people who are very experienced in the ocean and they dive a lot and they surf, they'll say the exact same thing about sharks. And we don't do those things. We're like, no, fuck that. Like we watched Jaws when we were 6. So like
that's what, Kimmy's always telling me that because she's like, sharks don't actually want to eat you. They don't. They'll just take a nip and then they're like, oh, this human tastes like shit, and then they swim away.
Either. The nip is too much.
But even the nip, like shark attacks are still very, very rare. Like it's not a common
shark
thing.
Attacks are super gentle. No one's ever horribly scarred from them.
Right.
I just love I think it was Ian Edwards. I think it's Ian Edwards. He has a bit about it where he's like, why do they even call them shark attacks? Like that's their home. You're trespassing. It's
right.
If some guy just like walked through your living room while you were trying to enjoy an episode of Friends and like you'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And you'd probably swing on him. So like why are we mad at sharks for being like, this fucking guy he's in my spot?
That shark just sharked too much.
There was I went on a canoe trip in 2005 with my buddy Jason, and we went down the Peace River, and we were going. It was like the first time either one of us had been in a canoe, and I don't know how fucking long, probably since we were kids. And this was like maybe an hour into the fucking trip, and the whole leading up to it, Jason was like riddled with anxiety of like, how big do you think the alligators get? And I was like, well, I mean, it's a popular like canoe trip. It's like a 3-day canoe trip, and like it's a very popular place. Like you just camp wherever you want. So. And it was like Memorial Day weekend. So I was like, there's going to be so many people canoeing this river. So it can't be that fucking bad. And he's like up all night, like just obsessing over it. I was like, dude, you're overthinking about it. You're good. So anyway, so he's in the back of the canoe. We're going, and there's this bend in the river where it goes like this. And as we're coming up, I don't remember who saw it first. But over here on a corner, there is this fucking thing. It is, dude. It's giant. It's fucking like, look at the thickness of that fucking thing.
It's like a 10-footer,
yeah. It's huge, dude. And I saw it and started to panic, and he saw it and started to panic, but he was in the back, so he's steering the fucking canoe and he's paddling the wrong direction.
40 minutes sleep already, fucking
exactly. And he's paddling the wrong direction, so we just start spinning towards it. And so the canoe is then like in a spin, and it's like he's behind me, so he's now towards it, and he's like just fucking freaking. And then I finally had to turn around. I was like, Jason, fucking stop. And then he was like, okay. And then we corrected it and went on. But I like the whole, like that was an hour into the trip, 3 days of me going, I'm going to fucking die. Anytime you hear a splash, it's like, it's this fucking thing that's going to come eat you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean this is a popular like canoe camping ground? Like, do you see what is living in your fucking water? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they don't want us here.
No. So I'm good with being attacked by an alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Josh? I remember you saying you loved the movie Alligator. James and Justin, did you guys see that movie?
I've never seen it yet.
That movie's awesome.
That's probably one of my top 10.
I've seen so like in Search of Darkness. You know, it's got clips and they cover it in that. It looks awesome.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
It's so much fun. Well, because you hate CGI animals, and so this is all a giant practical effects gator just fucking shit up. And Robert Forster.
Right. Honestly, we should probably do that and Crawl as an episode.
Yeah, probably.
There you go. There's also an alligator sequel, and then there's Crocodile, which I think came shortly after. But yeah, I do want to make Justin watch Crawl all the way through since he couldn't finish it.
I kind of want to watch it now.
Lake Placid.
Right? Yeah, Lake Placid.
I haven't done that one in a while.
There you go. Lake Placid, alligator, and Crawl.
That's fucking good. Love Lake Placid.
But Jaws, what we were supposed to be talking about before we went off on a tangent about how we'd love to get mauled by bears or alligators.
I think I think I would have to pick shark, but I don't want to.
Well, I don't think any of the answers to the question are what you want.
No. I want bear. Like, I want that to happen.
I kind of want shark. Shark's kind of cool. I'd be down for shark.
Yeah. I mean, probably better than how we're all going to go anyways, right?
Right. I can't talk about that right now.
It would be fun to admit comparatively. Like, he died doing what he loved, screaming, "Oh fuck, there really are sharks out here."
Yeah.
They said this would happen on the podcast.
I love the idea. There's like, no, there's not sharks out here.
Right?
Why would there be sharks out here? Yeah. Oh, fuck.
I was warned.
What was that? Wasn't that one of the Letterboxd reviews you shared, Derek? Was like, good thing sharks aren't real.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, this movie would be real fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Question.
Yeah.
We can cut this out if not. Do you guys want me to actually do this speech?
Oh, no, you're good.
I'll do it. I have it pulled up. It'll be funny.
I was wondering, what is the... I know this is going to be a stupid one to look up because it's going to be high, but what is
Rotten Tomatoes? That's a good question.
I mean, if it's not 100, if it's not 100 on both, then like,
well,
what is everybody doing?
I know on Letterboxd, I think it's 4, which is super high. Like, I don't know how many movies are 4 and above, especially for ones that are very heavily watched. Tomato meter is 97. And audience score is 90. Again, I mean, for movies that have 200 over 250,000 reviews,
Tomato meter,
it has to be one of the most reviewed movies of all time, right?
Unacceptable. Whoever's responsible for that 3, because if that is thousands of reviews, like how many reviews?
No, that one's only 145. The Tomato
only
meter.
145 reviews.
Wow.
Yeah,
but
the audience score is over
3% of them are negative, which means at least 4 reviews are bad. So those
3% of them are negative, or 3% of them are just not perfect 100s.
That's negative to me. If you didn't give Jaws a perfect 100,
like if someone gave it a 99%, someone could have Someone could have took like a 1% off. Like, do you see the house he has, oceanfront, as a fucking police officer? Like, what the fuck? That's not believable.
Well, that was one thing when I was a kid. I was like, I read something and they're like, it's impossible for any shark to actually bring down 3 barrels. Like, there's no way that thing could possibly exist. And I'm like, wait, I think that's the point of the movie, though, is that this is like a shark beyond what we think could exist.
That's what,
but also like
scary.
Like you would have the Coast Guard. You wouldn't have just 3 guys.
Yeah.
Like if it was really fucking up a whole town, you would have had a bigger boat.
It's a very small boat, dude.
It's a week, like it's about a week out from the initial attack. Like I'm pretty sure they get involved almost immediately, wouldn't they? Especially if it was a tourist town.
The point is the mayor was trying to avoid any sort of publicity.
But then, but then it's definitely published in the news and on the radio and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, I don't know. Like,
It was the 70s. The Coast Guard was a lot less like on top of their shit.
I'm changing my review to 4.5.
No Coast Guard, no movie.
Now the rating's too high. Yeah. Real weird. We spent 90 minutes and decided that Jaws actually sucks.
Yeah. We've been blowing this movie for 90 minutes.
Spielberg, yeah, kind of overrated.
Better luck next time, dude.
I wonder if
Better
Spielberg.
like next time, Steve.
I wonder if Steve's ever at his house and he's like just by himself and he's just like, yeah, I made Jaws.
I would.
You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I fucking hope he does.
I'd be
if
like,
anyone
God,
deserves it,
awesome.
he is.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be a dick about it, but
No,
I would be like to everybody, like, do you know
I'd be
how
kind of
many
a dick
movies
about
I've
it.
made?
Yeah.
Like,
every
I'm
time.
Steven Spielberg. I'm the guy who made Jaws.
Yeah.
Like
Every time he walks by a mirror, just laughs like,
yeah.
you.
That's the guy that made Jaws.
You did Jaws,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
There he
Hey,
is.
remember that time I made
did
Jaws?
that, dude.
You did
Yeah.
that.
You did
bud.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
We know
Yeah.
he's
Good for you.
passionate about it because
Or you.
he was very pissed when Universal Orlando got rid of the Jaws ride, and apparently he was like very particular with Hollywood, and he was also mad when Hollywood got rid of the ET ride, and he was like,
That's
I need
awesome
to keep
because
these
those
up.
were good rides.
Yeah, they're great fucking rides. Hollywood has to get rid of rides because we have like it's literally like a 40 square foot park. They can't build new rides. They have to
crazy how jam packed it is.
Cycling.
They have to get rid of rides here because fuck us. I guess.
It's just
Orlando getting rid of the Jaws ride make no sense.
None.
Well,
because they still have plenty of space. And they have
getting rid of the
Ghostbusters
fucking thing made no sense to fucking put in Twister.
King Kong, dude.
Oh yeah,
King Kong was the shit.
King Kong was incredible.
Earthquake.
Well,
I think King Kong is Mummy, so that one's fine. But
yeah, but I
Mummy's
thought they
dope. But
Mummy is dope.
I thought they brought King Kong back in a different park.
I thought so
I don't know
too.
if it
But
was out
They-
there or
they
I think
have-
they did Skull Island.
Out here
Yeah.
we have King Kong 360 3D, which is just it's the
gotcha
3D tunnel digital. It's pretty fucking cool. It was put together by Digital, and then in Orlando now they have Kong, Reign of Kong, Skull Island, which is the 360 3D thing that we have here, but something before and something after. And Orlando still has a big animatronic ape at the end of that
park
one.
is that in?
Oh, that's cool.
That's in Islands of Adventure, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I haven't been to Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
I don't know how fucking long.
But I know Spielberg was pissed when Jaws got closed, and he also got pissed because Hollywood switched out the boat. There was a boat on the water of the studio tour where Jaws comes out of the water and fucking scares you, and the boat was in bad shape, and so they scrapped it. They just like threw it out and put a new boat in there. And Spielberg came to this is I should have double checked my sources. Like I could be lying my ass off right now. This is a story I've heard working there and a story I've read before. Is he showed up and he was like, "What the fuck happened to the old boat?" And they're like, "Oh, that thing was a piece of shit. It was falling apart. So we renovated. We put a new boat in." And he's like, "That was a prop from the film. Like you had an actual boat from Jaws as part of your studio tour." And they were like, "Oh." So he's like, "Yeah,
dude,
So
that's
it
the
just
most
got
romantic
fucking
thing I've ever heard."
Destroyed.
It was just like-
Mallrats, dude.
Yeah, the Jaws popped out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. That's
Yeah,
why I'm never
Perfect
going to get
timing.
married because I don't have anywhere to
yeah, you
propose
can't
now.
you can't top
Yeah.
that.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Too
she's
bad
just
I'm
gonna
not
be
trying
like,
to marry you.
You know what?
yeah.
Don't say nothing yet.
Never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure he wakes up every once in a while and is just like, "Oh man, it's a good day to be the guy that made Jaws."
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Unless there was a shark attack that day, then maybe not.
No, then I would be like, I told
Open the
him,
paper,
tried
he's
to
like,
warn him.
Nah, it's still a pretty
Yeah.
fucking good day to be me. Yeah, that's all right.
He's reading the paper.
Maybe
He's like,
today I'm the guy that
"Oh
made ET."
no!" Yeah, I'm still Steven Spielberg though.
Oh man,
Nice.
you guys good?
Coast
Yeah,
into
it's
it.
really
Coast,
good.
coast-
Yeah.
coast to a real nice slow stop.
Yeah. Bringing this thing onto a close.
Bringing it on home
Yeah.
real slow.